Okay, good evening, everybody, or good morning, or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. We are going to be diving into taxonomy now, and so I'm going to give this lesson. You guys should be watching this while I am not in school today on a field trip, so let's dive right in. Okay, first and foremost, taxonomy. What is it? Taxonomy can be defined as the branch of science concerned with classification and characterization of organisms, and it is used to organize organisms into useful groups. So biology is very complex, right? Animals, as they evolve and they adapt, do not follow prescribed rules of organization, but we as humans like to create these organization buckets, if you will, to make things make more sense to us. And so that's where it comes from. It comes from this desire to organize life in a reliable and easy to follow way. Now, originally, taxonomy was based on skeletal morphology. In other words, what organisms, how they looked and how closely they were related to one another, at least from a physical standpoint. Typically, things that looked more similar were placed in the same group. So think like your house cat and your tiger and your bobcat all look very similar, and so they were placed in the same group. Later on, this system and now is moving more into genetics, because this is at the forefront of biological understanding. And so now we're finding that yes, genetics, for the most part, backs up what systematics and skeletal morphology has told us for a long time. But that's not always the case. A classic example here is here with whales, and I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Okay, so this is how we organize life in taxonomy. So you probably have heard something like kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. When I was in school, we did King Philip came over for great spaghetti as a sort of way to remember what those classifications were. And you can also add domains above that. So domain is the largest grouping of organisms. There are 3 domains for all of life. It's bacteria, it's archaea, which are a type of bacteria or related to bacteria. They live in extreme environments typically. And then the third are eukaryotes. And eukaryotes are organisms that have membrane-bound organelles. They also have a nuclei in their cells. And this includes all animals, all plants, all fungi. So, as you move down this layer, and I think I'll show you what this looks like, is as you go down the arrow on the right, organisms become more closely similar. They become more alike. But on the other hand, as you move up, there are more and more organisms in there. So when we're talking about something at a phylum level, there are, depending on the phylum you're looking at, hundreds of thousands of organisms that can be in there. Whereas if you're looking at the genus level, you might only have 1, 2, or 3 different genera that belong to a family. So that's just a way to remember that. Here's an acronym that my face is hiding. Dear King Philip came over for, I think it's either grape soda or great spaghetti. So some way to remember it. Okay, so these are the highest levels of classification. The old way was to use 6 kingdoms: bacteria, archaea, protista, plantae, fungi, and animalia. Those 6 kingdoms still exist, but they later combine them into 3 domains. So you can see bacteria and archaea are the same. Eukarya includes all of these other ones: protists, plants, fungi, and animals. Bacteria and archaea are both prokaryotes, meaning they lack true nuclei. They have no membrane-bound organelles. Like I said, archaea, they're found in a very extreme environment. Think thermal vents. So those of you who presented on the hydrothermal vents, archaea are very prevalent there. They're also found in ice. Bacteria pretty much everywhere on the earth. Protists, they're a little weird. They are eukaryotes, so they have membrane-bound organelles. They have nuclei, but they are single-celled. Everything else is multicellular in eukaryotes. Okay, so here is an example of a taxonomic classification. This is the orca. Orchinus orca is the genus and species. It's its taxonomic name. Of course, it's an animal, so it belongs to the kingdom Animalia, which is, of course, in the domain eukaryotes. It belongs to the vertebrate phylum, which is Chordata. It is a mammal, which belongs to class Mammalia. It is specifically a mammal that lives in the ocean, a marine mammal, part of a clade of organisms called cetacea. Now, cetacea are basically whales, and there are multiple different types of whales. It includes dolphins, it includes blue whales, it includes belugas, and so Delphinidae is what this family is. And then the genus goes into killer whale. That's the Orchinus genus, and this is the Orchinus orca, the killer whale. So continuing along with whales, here are the three that I just mentioned, the killer whale, the blue whale, and the beluga whale. How closely related are they? Advance the slide and find out. Killer whales, blue whales, and beluga whales all belong to the Cetacea order. So all the green is the things that are the same. They differ at the family level. So all the whales that have teeth belong to the Delphinidae. All the whales that have baleen, they belong to the Balaenopterae. And the whales with one tooth are the Monodontidae. And so beluga whales, they actually had a tooth, they lost it. Also belonging to this are the narwhals. Narwhals are monodonts. They have a single tooth. It's actually their incisor, and I believe it's the upper left incisor for all narwhals. They've lost their upper right incisor. It's only their upper left, which one right here, but it has jutted out and gotten really long, so monodontidae. So, and all the red continue on. That's where they differ. How about you? How closely related are you to a killer whale? Take a second, see if you can come up with an answer, and I'll tell you on the next slide. So you differ at the order level with killer whales. You are both mammals, mammalia, but you are, as a human, a member of the primate order. Whales, of course, are cetacea. Okay, how about giant kelp and a killer whale? Where do they differ? They are both eukaryotes, so they are both multicellular organisms. They both have membrane-bound organelles. They have nuclei in their cells, but whales are, of course, animals. Kelp are not plants. They're a group of something called the Chromista, which I guess it's a type of plant, so maybe they are plants. But I think I put the exclamation point and the question mark because they're still working that out. Taxonomy is always being changed. And why is taxonomy always being changed? It's because scientists can't make their minds up. And so it's a very active area of research and debate. So the question is, how do scientists determine the relationship between organisms? I'll tell you on the next slide. It's very complicated. One way is if you're trained like a paleontologist, as I am, you can look at the skeletal morphology of an organism. In other words, what does the bone structure look like? The other way, what I'm showing here, this is genetics, and this is what it looks like. They come up with very complicated diagrams that determine the relationships among organisms. You can see on the left, these are a bunch of different types of plants. Land plants is the outgroup, that's the bottom red triangle. So you see the word terrestrial, that means they live on the land. Everything else above that is something that is found in the ocean. From marine planktonic at the very top, these are organisms that just float. You get down into the chlorophyta, and then you get the marine deep water, and then the charophyte. So there's just a lot of weird stuff going on. It's all DNA related. And if you look on the right, this is fish, and you can see there are lots of different fish, and this very complex, beautiful rainbow of a graph is what's called a cladogram, which is a hypothesis of relationships among organisms. So it's just a hypothesis. We don't really know. We have very good ideas. Remember, in science, we're not proving anything, but we are finding evidence to support it. So if you have a time, I will put this link on Schoology. You should go play with it. You can basically search up any organism that you're interested in, and it will take you through their whole evolutionary tree. You can look for current alive mammals like dogs and wolves. Then you can search for something like a bear, and you can see how it relates. You can search for a plant. And so have some fun with that today in class, if you will. I'm going to let you guys watch this video on your own time. Okay, so homework. I will provide a printout of this assignment in class. What I want you to do is take that marine organism. You'll remember last week I had you guys tell me what marine organism you were. You had some wonderful presentations. You talked about dolphins and blobfish and crabs, and I think somebody said they were slime. Look that stuff up, whatever it is, and I want you to find what ecosystem that organism lives in. So if it's a dolphin, tell me what kind of ecosystem it lives in. We just went through 9 if you were in second block, 10 if you were in sixth block. So choose one of those ecosystems and tell me that's where it is. And then in that ecosystem, find another species that's found in there. So if you have the dolphin and they live in, I think, estuaries, you have to find another organism that lives in the estuary. Now what I will want you to do is to try to find an organism that is in a totally different group. So if you have dolphin, find a bird, find a plant, find an oyster, right? If you said you were an octopus, you might be in the deep ocean or the open ocean. I want you to find something that is totally unrelated. Octopi belong to mollusks, the phylum, so find me a whale, find me a plant, find me a plankton. I just want to get you guys some practice using taxonomy. You're going to use it in biology class, so you might as well get it done here. And so then once you find that, I want you to provide the entire taxonomic breakdown of that organism. I will show you what that looks like on the next slide. Here it is. You have domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So under name, give me the actual Latin name. So if you're doing the domain for animals, right, it'll be Animalia. Translate it to English. Animalia is going to be animal, right? Earlier I showed you a killer whale. It was in the order Cetacea. That would translate to marine mammals, right? And then a description. In your own words, describe what that is. So you don't have to go crazy here defining it, but like an animal in Animalia, you should say it's mobile. It moves at some point in its life, right? It has internal organs and tissues and cells that are differentiated. When you get down into the genus and the species, try to be as descriptive as you can about what makes them different. You might run into a little bit of issues here, but just be creative on how you write it. And you're going to remember, you're going to have 2 organisms. One of the one you presented in, or presented on for which organism defines you, and then one that is also found in that ecosystem, but is from a totally different taxonomic branch. Okay, good luck working on this today, guys. Thank you for your time and effort, and I will see you all on Friday. Bye.